Good afternoon, everyone. It's Louise here from Eleanor Grace, here with your latest update on the stitch along. Now, I think this stitch along will probably naturally come to a close early to mid March. And then I will be preparing for the next quarterly stitch along, which is going to be something completely and utterly different. So I thought I'd just give you an update of where I've got to, and obviously be interested to know how you're getting on, and if you've tried any of the prompts that I've given over the last few weeks. So I'll just show you where I'm at now. Now, there won't be a session next week because I'm going to show you something at the end, which is going to be on next Saturday, a video that's going to be coming up next Saturday. The next one will be a live, which will be in 2 weeks' time. So it will be on Saturday, the 1st of March at 6 p.m. And it will just be a chance for me to get in front of camera again, which, as you know, I love. I thought it would be quite nice, and maybe Ella will join us for that one. I think she's probably not going to join today because she's asleep on the sofa right now, as you know, an old cat is allowed to do. So I thought I'll just show you where I'm at to and what I've been doing, and also give you another prompt if you fancy one. Now this is one I've used in my group before, so I'll show you what I've done in line with the prompt, and that is monochrome. Now, just going to move these out of the way. Monochrome often gets confusingly sort of labelled as black and white, which actually is not the case. Technically monochrome does mean one colour. So what I've done here is I've put some quite bright and quite coloured pieces underneath a layer of lace, and then I've stitched over the lace with a thread in the same colour or as near as possible to the colour of the lace. So it gives just little pops of colour here and there, but we are working here in a sort of monochrome palette on top of these. These were the spare sort of circles I had left over from one of our earlier projects. So again, I've just done some simple stitching, and I've got a couple of new stitches that I'm going to show you. One of those is this, which I've done on one of the other pieces. I've done this raised cup stitch quite a few times now, and I'm starting to get used to it. It's a little bit fiddly, but it's quite enjoyable. So that is a monochrome, is a colorway that I was thinking you might want as a little bit of inspiration, but I've done this on top of as I say, a range of quite brightly colored pieces. It looks quite different, from what it did before I overlaid the monochrome sort of palette of old pieces, very old pieces of lace here. So that is the new little Twinchie that I've made, and I am looking to put mine together on a larger piece of canvas. So I've got a piece of canvas which, if you'd have bought the packs from me, which were available, unfortunately I have run out of them now, then you would have seen the that I bought these 4x4 canvases. So that would be a 4x4 canvas. I've also bought some bigger ones, so I'm carrying on with a few more of these just to see if I can make up something a bit more dramatic. And I feel that I don't have enough things, and I have said this before, that I have in the house. I don't show enough of my work in the house. And I've started clearing space in the hall where I could mount several, pieces. So I'm going to be looking at doing a bit more of that. So that's where I've got to with these. So these are all the prompts that we had previously, and having a bit of fun with those. Just to show you another example of the prompt of monochrome, I have done a little bit more, not a lot, but a little bit more on this piece. I'm going to have to zoom out a bit. So So this piece, we sort of look at it from this way. So I'd started off with that. That was sky, which is one of our themes. This was circles, which was again another theme. And I'd moved on to these pieces here. I'm going to turn it sideways now, otherwise it's going to get a bit squishy. And I do love these pieces of batik. So this one is the latest one, and I was looking at it. You can see here, this is the part I've purposely left this for you, or I just haven't finished it, whichever one you wish to you wish to think. But I thought it might be nice actually to leave a bit to show you what it looked like before and after. As you can see, I've started filling in some of the stems, but I have left most of them for the moment, and a few bits here left to do in a monochrome, so it looks quite dramatic. You know, it looks quite, especially against the darker one. We haven't done any white here, and I filled this with white. I think that looks it looks fabulous. The next one along is giving me a bit of a prompt with these circles, but it would be, yeah, it would be easy to just go around and do a lot of French or colonial knots, but I might do something different with these. I'll wait and see what inspiration comes to me. So I've still got quite a lot of this one to do, and this was my first just sort of practice one. So I've got some lovely pieces of fabric here, mainly that I've received from mum, and some of them from my collection. So that's how far I've got on that one. And this one, it has had a little bit more done, but I have been off this week, so I have been on holiday, and I didn't get an awful lot of stitching time. But you may remember from last time I hadn't finished this corner here. I was looking at to see what I was going to do, and then suddenly I just got this. I've been having some work done in my garden, and there was one area that needed sort of clearing, and there was a big sort of pile of shrubs where he'd chopped back. The chap had helped me chop it all back, and it just made me think of this little section here, which was you know, yet to be finished. So I decided to sort of make that look sort of quite dramatic and a bit like one of my shrubs. And here I have done that raised cup stitch again. It's a really lovely stitch. It is meant to go sort of slightly more circular, but with this fabric, I had said I was thinking of doing something like that because yeah, I love this fabric, but it just felt like it was the perfect stitch for it. I'm not sure whether I may just add a few other things in. I feel like it needs something else, and maybe in a brightish colour like you've got with this green here. So I feel I might add in just a few of something else. Maybe it's going to be a knot, maybe it'll be a different type of stitch. Might do even some satin stitch, which is not my most favourite stitch, but I, you know, could do that. And then I've still got all these to do, so I've got to catch up, and yet I've got lots on at the moment, so life is really busy, but yeah, quite a lot there still to do. So this one is the one that was already sort of started by mum, so it's got, you know, pieces already inserted, but I've just added more. And the other one, as I'm sure you'll remember, that had a backing of felt, so it was just pinned onto a piece of fabric underlying there, and then backed with felt. And obviously at the end I will cover the backs of these. But yeah, I've made a little bit of progress, shall we say. What I did want to show you as well is that I've been very inspired by what the group are doing on, if you're not already on the Facebook group Slow Stitching by Hand with Eleanor Grace, which is me, then you do have a look, because there's some really inspired work going on there. And one of them was by Fee, who I know I've mentioned before, and Fee had done this beautiful piece where she was making a seasonal one, sort of with a section for spring, a section for summer, a section for autumn, and then a section for winter. And I thought, do you know what, I've got a pile of these lovely old embroidered napkins from a hotel. Well, this was from the vintage fair, but these are very old, and they've got a sort of inscription here, which I don't know you can see in the light. It's something BF Hotels, I think, and I've got a pile of these, so I thought I could cut up that, because it's quite a nice sort of thick, sturdy sort of linen or linen type fabric, and so I've just made a strip out of that. I have had to piece it together a little bit. As you can see, there's a bit here where I've had to stitch in the middle, but I felt like that would be really nice, a really nice piece to do spring, and then summer, and then autumn, and then winter, and just do it in perhaps little scenes. So maybe a quarter of this, each quarter will have a theme. And I also have been fiddling around with my bobbins or spools, and this one is a really nice size. This is pretty much 3 inches here, and I realised, of course, in my Twinchie and Twinchie madness, I hadn't actually made many Twinchies, so I thought that this could possibly go onto here. So what I did here, I've been looking at different ways of attaching onto the bobbins, because obviously they've got a wooden surface, and when I tried any sort of fabric, it just slipped, and it was sort of turning around and round. And I felt that felt would be best. So I have started putting this together, and what I decided, rather than doing a long piece of felt and then stitching straight onto that, is that I would try to just stitch a piece of felt on there, and see then if I've got my piece that I can attach it, and then it will roll up naturally like that, or I can even hang it. It's got the holes obviously here, so I could somehow have something come up or go backwards to attach it, so it could be hung up, or I might just leave it to be rolled up. I haven't quite decided yet, but I thought I'll do a couple of different types of attachments onto these bobbins, just to see what worked well. So all I did here was got a piece of felt that was just slightly longer than the circumference here, and so there was a little bit of overlap, not very much actually, but a little bit, and then I stitched it together, and I just literally did a bit of almost like a whip stitch just to stitch it together. And then I thought that what I will do is attach the I've got Ella's fur everywhere, even though she's not up here. She's just shedding at the moment, and I thought I would attach it to here, possibly almost onto that bit, so it covers that bit where I've stitched together. The alternative might be that I then I put another layer of fabric over this, but at least it will have the base layer of felt to sort of stick onto, and then that could be attached and unrolled and rolled up. So I'm making a bit of a rod for my own back, in that I've got another one to make, but I feel this might be almost a little bit easier, because it is in one piece, and it's just ready to be stitched. So what I think I'm going to do is iron it, and then I'm going to mark out the 4 areas. So I'm going to have spring, summer, autumn, winter, and then start stitching. So I also have the piece of felt wasn't quite long enough, so I've left the end like that, because I thought either what I will do is just sort of close it off and stitch it up at the end, or what I might even do is embroider the seasons or something like that on there, or embroider spring, summer, autumn, winter, something like that. I don't know. I'm leaving my mind open on that one. This one obviously is very small. That one is only going to get an inchy on it, which is 1 inch, just over one. That's just over 1 inch. So I think this one is I'm going to use for something else. It's a bit more decorative than anything else. So I'm going to put this one aside for the moment, albeit, you know, I do love it. I do love any of these. And the season for the local vintage fairs is coming up. We don't get anything much between October and March, April. So in going March into April, we're starting to get some things happening. So I should be looking out for more things. Not that I need it, because I've got a terrible, huge stash of fabrics already. But yeah, that's where I've got to with this. What I wanted to do as well, which I have sort of teased, is give you something else that I'm going to be doing next weekend. So I am actually away next weekend, so I'm going to pre-record something. I've got a day off sometime in the week, and I'm going to pre-record something for release next weekend. So I won't be doing a update. I will leave that for 2 weeks' time, when we've got the live on Saturday the 1st of March at 6 p.m. in the evening UK time. So what I did mention a little while ago was couching, and I did have some people come back to me and say they would be really interested to do a bit of couching, and I thought I would just give you a couple of examples here to show you. There's lots of different types. As well, as you probably know, it's comes from the French coucher, which is to lie down, and is in a very famous song, Lady Marmalade. But that's got a whole different meaning to it. And so I thought I'd put together a just 2 or 3 of my lovely pieces of wool and different yarns that I've got. This up the top, if anyone is a knitter and fan, this is Noro. Noro is a Japanese maker. It's got silk in it, and it's one of those sort of slubby yarns that's thick in places, thin in others, thick in places, you know. And I've done some different techniques here, so I'm going to do a little video for you for next Saturday, which will be a series, be the first possibly in a series of a little series about couching, because couching is just such a lovely thing to do. It gives a piece real sort of body and texture, and as you can see from this thick thread here, I mean, this thread feels absolutely gorgeous. There's different ways of couching. This one is sort of, I've done it not on the straight, I've done a bit of a wobbly, but with very neat sort of pulled in standard sort of couching stitches. This one I've sort of gone with the twist of the yarn, so I've done sort of raised couching. There are other words for it as well. And I've gone on the slant as well, which is the slant of the twist of the fibre. So I think that looks lovely, and this feels so lovely where you've got the little bobbly bits in between. That does. Anyone that stitches and goes and buys nice yarn now and again will know that feeling of just touching something and thinking, oh, that's so lovely. It feels so nice. So I've done these in different ways as well. In the way that we finish them off, I've left this one loose because although technically that is a no-no, as you all know, I am a bit of a rebel and I like to do things the way I like to do them. I don't always go with the view of you know, perfection that you know, we use in embroidery quite a lot. And this one is just a bit of yarn that my mum got from a friend, and she thought it might be useful for something, and I thought it was quite nice with the little pom-pom bits that appear along it, to have one at the start and end, and also to do a corner or to do an angle. So I think I will do a little video on this for next week. So the next one otherwise will be in 2 weeks' time. And the other thing I was going to say, I will try and remember to put a link on, is that I do have some couching yarns in my Etsy shop, which is Eleanor Grace UK, all one word, with a capital E, capital G, and capital UK. And I have some lovely, lovely couching collections on there, which are a collection of several of my best yarns. They're all wool and silk and sparkly and lovely. So if anyone is interested in those, do go and have a look on my Etsy shop. And otherwise, I will see you next week with a little couching video. And take care, everyone. And I will see you then. Okay, bye.